We are drinking Jack Daniels out of a tiny flask of it. I did a handful of online articles. I did one for Esquire, I did one for Vanity Fair, and a few other websites and blogs. But I've always kind of been in the music industry, and my background is writing, but I used to work at a record label, and now I'm at VEVO working on their blog. So I do everything from writing about video premieres, kind of talking about old videos from the 80s that we have all of this back catalog of all these videos. And then I run my own music blog, Big Ugly Yellow Couch, which features up-and-coming bands, usually from Brooklyn, and we put them on the couch. We have them record 3 songs, totally acoustic or as acoustic as possible, and we push it out. It's kind of backwards because the inspiration was hating music blogs so much. It's such an insular community, and we kind of got really fed up with reading about all of these blogs who were just writing about bands because other people were writing about them. And so it was just this total hype buildup of bands that shouldn't really be getting that look because they're kind of knockoffs and this and that. Myself and Donald Rasmussen, who's the videographer, we kind of wanted to start a blog that focuses on bands we love. Just only bands we 100% love and back. And so we've recorded with, I think there are almost 40 bands now, but we won't record with anyone we're not 100% behind because we follow the bands throughout their career. So if they play at a show, we'll go and we'll take videos and photos and post it. We kind of curate this set of bands that we love. And we kind of did that to counteract the, oh, here's an MP3 of the day, because that's kind of widespread and everywhere. Donald and myself moved here from Chicago 2 years ago, and we had this horrible, hideous yellow couch because we were so poor and we couldn't afford furniture, and we got it for 20 bucks in Chicago. So Donald drove it across the country, and he hated it. He hated it. And so the website was kind of like a silly trick to make sure we could keep it. The idea for the site popped into my head, and so we were working out of this tiny railroad, shitty apartment for the longest time. A lot of those sessions have ended up being my favorite, just because it was when we were first starting out, we didn't really know what we were doing, and we had all these random bands. And one of the most memorable ones was probably Fantagram, because they came over in that crazy blizzard for a few years ago. They somehow made it there. I don't know how, we didn't leave the house. And they recorded, it might be their only stripped down versions of a few of their songs. And it's so different from the album. Everything we were trying to do was encapsulated by that session. One of my favorites, Young the Giant, we recorded with them in the old apartment for Big Ugly Yellow Couch too. I have the YouTube alerts, and every day, without fail, someone will be like, who's that guy sitting there? Because they had a friend just step in and shake a container of Nerds. We kept candy in jars and it like turned into instruments. It got really silly. They were looking for someone to kind of add more editorial voice into their website, and so the blog is the main editorial portion of the website at this point. It kind of gives context to all of the crazy things they have going on, because they have their own original content, they have these in-studio interviews that I've been helping out with, they have video premieres for Beyonce and Britney Spears and all these gigantic artists, but the way the website's constructed, the only editorial portion is just on the slide of the homepage. So it kind of has given a voice to all of this amazing music that they have. From a top-down perspective, I think everyone's still figuring it out. Because fans who are really active will put their money into stuff, but I think the big problem is figuring out what fans can pay for that they actually want to pay for. And I think that's kind of, it's worked itself out a little in some places here and there, but it hasn't totally been finalized yet. When I was younger in college, I interned at Polyvinyl. When they put out an Up Montreal album, they had, must have been like 15 pieces of merch. They just had everything. They had stickers and vinyl and t-shirts and mobiles, like paper mobiles, I think, or they had a lamp, and if you bought anything, you got a copy of the album. And I was interning in mail order at the time, and things were flying off the shelves. So that was kind of the example that I always think of them doing it right. And I think that a lot of times it seems like the labels might be tricking the fan into spending money, where, oh, if you pre-order the album, you'll get access to tickets and things like that. And I think that there needs to be ideas that can actually benefit the fan for them to put money out. I actually haven't touched Spotify yet. I'm a Rhapsody girl. I'm old school about it. I think it's awesome. It's perfect. My boyfriend's coming to Chicago for the first time, and the only plans we've been making have been food-based. We're going to Lou Malnati's straight off the plane. We're trying to get into Girl and the Goat, but it's impossible. I feel like I could get in anywhere here before I could get in there. I might surprise him with Leader Circle if we're like out and about over the weekend. Ask for a chocolate shake. Yeah, you know what's up. But here, I've been spending an inordinate amount of time in the West Village. I've been eating every meal out, kind of trying to fit every restaurant in. I'm eating like I'm dying in a week. I feel like I'm having my own chicken entree challenge. Like, I keep trying to find the best roast chicken, and I'm constantly disappointed. But I went to the Little Owl for the first time last night, and there might be top of my list. If you put cheese fries, it's I can't function. It's like complete kryptonite for me. My favorite place is Painkiller. It's that tiki bar I've only been there when I'm already a little shitty, so I don't even know where it is. I really like Idle Hands. It's a silly, like, rock bar, but it's run by guys who have ties to the music industry, and it's kind of like, it's like a place where all metalheads hang out, which it's not usually my scene, but I have a friend who goes there routinely all the time, obsessed with it, and she's from Kentucky, so she knows her bourbon. She introduced me to Rebel Reserve. It's this unbelievable bourbon. So I go there with her and I drink that, and it's always the best time, just because it's full of really nice, genuine people. It's kind of not packed to the walls like everywhere else. It's nice to be in a bar where you feel like you could talk to anyone there, instead of just people are having their own thing. I'm hoping that what I end up doing with my real life is doing a job that's centered in writing and writing online, but not obsessing about what someone said on Twitter. I was reading this interview that, actually it wasn't an interview, it was a story from the Berkeley School of Music, from their newspaper or their journal, whatever it was, and John Mayer visited them, and he was giving a speech, and he was talking about how he had to drop off of Tumblr, off of Twitter, because he wasn't able to write anymore. Like, he wasn't able to write music because he was so obsessed with getting everything right in 140 characters. And I read that and was like, that's it. Are we ill-fated? I think a lot of it is just trying to cut through the noise. There's so much online, there's so much bullshit that people write about so many things just because publicists tell them to. And there's kind of all this stuff floating around, and I feel like there's not a lot of voices that are saying, I think this is good because it's good, not for any other reason. It's really, really hard, especially in music blogs today, because if you don't write about what everyone else is writing about, you feel like you're out of the loop, and that makes you worse than everyone else who's writing about it. It's really, really, really hard to not get mixed up in that, and I think that it's just so tough sometimes. But that's kind of what my end goal is, to kind of try and be real about stuff and try and be honest in such a crazy world where information is flying back and forth all day long.